Hello everyone, welcome to Frontier Hotspots. It is a channel focusing on the most cutting-edge technology and engineering in China and the world. CNOOC announced on the 29th that the cumulative production of oil and gas has exceeded 200 million tons since the development of Liaodong Bay in the Bohai Oilfield for 30 years. Liaodong Bay is the sea area with the highest latitude in China and is rich in oil and gas resources. The cumulative proven oil geological reserves exceed 800 million tons, and the natural gas geological reserves exceed 70 billion cubic meters. At present, Bohai Oilfield has built a total of 68 offshore oil production facilities and 3 land terminal plants in Liaodong Bay, and more than 1,300 oil and water wells have been put into production. 200 million tons, equivalent to 40 years of oil and gas consumption in a city with a population of 10 million in China. In the oil and gas development of Liaodong Bay, it has overcome a number of technical difficulties, and has developed a number of 100 million ton oil fields such as Suizhong 36:1 and Jinzhou 25:1 South, and the stable production of 10 million tons for 12 consecutive years has formed a key technology integration for the development of multiple sets of offshore oil fields. In 1992, the Jinzhou 20:2 gas field, the northernmost gas field offshore China, was put into production, kicking off the oil and gas development in the Liaodong Bay. In September 2020, Luda 21:2 oil field was successfully put into production, which means that China has realized the large-scale development of offshore heavy oil. In the next 3 years, the Liaodong Operation Company will have several new oil fields put into production one after another, and the shore power will be connected to the power grid of Suizhong 36:1 oil field and Jinzhou 25:1 South oil and gas field. Liaodong Bay has a freezing period of up to 3 months a year, and the heavy oil resources are very rich. Heavy oil is crude oil with poor fluidity. Bohai Oilfield has overcome many world problems in anti-icing technology and heavy oil thermal recovery technology. Sea ice, formed by freezing sea water, is known as the 5 major marine disasters together with tsunamis, storm surges, disaster waves and red tides. Haibing is known as the white killer, and the surface of the Bohai Sea freezes every year. The lowest temperature in Liaodong Bay in winter is -30 degrees Celsius, and the maximum thickness of sea ice is 60 centimeters, making it extremely difficult to exploit offshore oil and gas. The person in charge of Liaodong Operation Company of CNOOC Tianjin branch said that in order to safely exploit oil and gas in the ice area, we have created the world's only pile-based caisson-type multifunctional ice-resistant platform, forming a world-leading ice production management technology system. Heavy oil development is another major breakthrough in Liaodong Bay oil and gas development. Heavy oil is buried underground like black amber at room temperature. In addition, due to the lack of space on the offshore platform, the effective experience on land cannot be simply used for reference, and it is extremely difficult to mine. Through the breakthrough of heavy oil steam thermal recovery technology, the annual output of heavy oil thermal recovery in Bohai Oilfield will exceed 300,000 tons for the first time in 2021. In April 2022, the world's first large-scale offshore super-heavy oil development oilfield, Liaodong 5:2 North Oilfield, was completed and put into production, marking that China's offshore heavy oil development technology has reached a world-class level. During the 14th five-year plan period, Liaodong Bay plans to use 170 million tons of unconventional heavy oil geological reserves, with an annual output scale of 3 million tons. Next, let's take a look at the introduction of China's Bohai Oilfield and how it is explored and developed. Bohai Oilfield was founded in 1965 and is the birthplace of China's offshore oil industry. In the more than 50 years since it was put into production, the proven oil geological reserves of over 4.4 billion tons and the natural gas geological reserves of nearly 500 billion cubic meters have been discovered, with a cumulative contribution of over 493 million tons of oil and gas production. At present, There are more than 50 oil and gas fields in production and more than 180 production facilities here, covering 3 provinces and 1 city in the Bohai Rim. The geological structure of the Bohai Bay Basin is complex, like a golden plate. It fell on the ground and broke and was stepped on a few times. The distribution of oil reservoirs is very scattered and complex, and it is separated by a layer of seawater, making exploration and development even more difficult. Hi. The Chief Exploration Engineer of CNOOC Tianjin branch introduced. Not only are the oil reservoirs scattered, but the crude oil in the Bohai Oilfield is highly viscous, dominated by heavy oil reservoirs. It is extremely difficult to develop these low-side and thick oil fields economically and effectively. The deeper the search for crude oil, the more difficult it is to find. What should I do? Oil people in Bohai Oilfield rely on innovation to achieve high and stable production in the broken plate. The well network is encrypted, a broom is inserted into the broom. Unlike onshore oil production, where you can choose drilling locations, offshore oilfield production can only start drilling from a point on a fixed platform, and the drilling trajectory is like a broom. The overall infilling technology of cluster well pattern developed by Bohai Oilfield can realize drilling 88 wells on one platform, making the underground well pattern seem to be inserting another broom in the broom, and high-precision drilling and safety control have reached the world-advanced level. This technology alone has increased the cumulative production of Bohai Oilfield by nearly 50 million tons of oil equivalent in the past 10 years. According to reports, since the 1990s, CNOOC has carried out 3 consecutive, premium and fast drilling, promotion actions, reducing the average drilling cycle from 57 days to less than 10 days, and increasing the drilling efficiency by 6 to 7 times, which is the highest in Bohai Oilfield. Rapid development has broken through key bottlenecks. The ice area is resistant to ice, and the oil production platform becomes a tumbler. Every winter, many oil fields in the northern Bohai Sea are attacked by sea ice. In Jinzhou Oilfield, the ice thickness in winter can often reach 20 centimeters to 40 centimeters, and it is extremely hard. The impact force on the oil production platform during movement is equivalent to a magnitude 5 to 6 earthquake. In order to safely exploit oil and gas in the ice area, we have created the world's first pile-based caisson-type multifunctional ice-resistant platform. The crude oil storage tank is placed below the sea level. This kind of ice flushing device ensures the safety of oilfield production in extremely special environments, said the Deputy General Manager of CNOOC Tianjin branch. Find gas in the oil basin and break through the world's problems. In the past, traditional geological theories believed that finding large gas fields in oil-type basins was a world-class problem. Bohai Oilfield has discovered 18 100 million-ton oil fields, but after decades of exploration and practice, no major gas fields have been discovered. CNOOC has taken a different approach. After 8 years of tackling key problems, CNOOC innovatively proposed the large-scale integrated condensate gas field exploration theory and technology, and guided the exploration to discover the Suizhong 19-6 gas field, with proven natural gas reserves exceeding 100 billion cubic meters and condensate oil exceeding billion tons. During the 13th five-year plan period, Bohai Oilfield has successively made important breakthroughs in the application of new technologies such as geophysical technology, intelligent distribution technology, oil recovery technology, large-scale thermal recovery of heavy oil, shore power, and intelligent oil fields. According to reports, during the 14th five-year plan period, Bohai Oilfield will strive to achieve breakthroughs in exploration, hard growth of crude oil, and great development of natural gas, to ensure that oil and gas production will reach 40 million tons in 2025. At present, the exploitation of offshore oil and gas resources has become an important growth in China's crude oil development. In 2021, China's offshore crude oil production will be 48.64 million tons, a year-on-year increase of 3.23 million tons, accounting for about 80% of the total domestic crude oil increase. This is the third consecutive year that China's offshore crude oil increase has accounted for more than half of the national crude oil increase. The latest round of oil and gas resource evaluation results show that China is rich in offshore oil and gas resources, with 39.3 billion tons of oil resources and 52 trillion cubic meters of natural gas, with broad prospects for exploration and development.